Right then, it looks like I am live. A bit of an impromptu kind of live stream, but I thought, you know what, I'll just go live. So yeah, hopefully there'll be a few people who pop in the chat. Just have a nice, relaxing sort of chat about the topic today. Basically, I've been thinking of a few different topics for Thursday Talks this week, and this was one of the topics. And I thought, what I'll do is I'll do a live stream now as well as doing Thursday talks and just have a quick talk about this topic as well. Obviously, I'm not going to drone on for ages and ages, but no, Garage flips it in the chat. He says no, except right, okay, he's talking about. Oh right, I get it. I thought you were saying no as in something's wrong or something, but yeah. Um, Thin Fashion Plus says yes and no. Hi ads. Yeah, everyone's answering the question, so I wasn't expecting it. I thought there was something wrong with the stream or something like that. But yeah, so so what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about should you hold stuff back for quarter four? It's one of those kind of things where people say no or yes. They either say yes you should or no you shouldn't. Like there's no like in between. People don't generally say, oh well, I hold a little bit of stuff back. It's either you do or you don't. And I think that the answers are different for both eBay and Amazon. So I wanted to get some of your guys' perspective on this, a little bit more deep into the subject rather than just, yes or no, because I think it is a little bit more deep, than that. It's not just generally a yes or no. It can be a yes in terms of for Amazon maybe, but no for eBay. And do you hold back certain types of items but not others, or something like that? Is there, some sort of principle that you stick to when actually holding stuff back for quarter four, or do you just not do it at all? So, in my personal opinion, I don't think you should hold anything back for quarter four on eBay. On eBay specifically, when we're talking about eBay, don't hold anything back. Why? What? I mean, someone in the chat, give me an example of why it may be good to hold stock back for quarter four on eBay specifically. If you can give me a good solid example, then I'll change my opinion. However, the way I see it is, why don't you just list it there and then? Even if it's a Christmas item, just list it there and then. And then what you can do is maybe list it at a higher price and wait to get the sale later on in the year. So we've got hello. What's all this then, Dr. Doodle Doo? We've got Chelsea in the chat. We've got Hannah Vincent. Hi there. So I buy from wholesalers, and if I see a certain style or fabric that I think would sell better for Christmas, otherwise I might not get any nearer. Otherwise, I might not get any nearer the time. Ah, okay, I get that. That's interesting. So if you see something, obviously your sourcing is different to mine and maybe other people's, Phoebe, but if you see something from a wholesaler that you think might do well at Christmas, you have the opportunity to buy it there and then, so you're going to buy it. But what about listing it? Did you say anything about listing it? See if certain fabric I think would sell better for Christmas. Yeah, so you're mainly talking about buying there, aren't you? So yeah, that's definitely interesting. So if you have the opportunity to buy it there and then definitely you should go and buy it, and maybe you list it during the year, or maybe you list it at Christmas. But and then she says, but then mine is just fashion related and bought in bulk. Yeah, fair enough. As I said, it's kind of a bit of a different way of sourcing. So for me personally, when I'm listing it on eBay, when I'm thinking about maybe holding stuff back for quarter four, I think I did it 1 year. I think I did it my first year of selling. And yeah, okay, it worked all right. And it made me feel that I've got like this backlog to work through later on in the year, come Christmas time. But other than that, it didn't really do anything. The types of items I was holding back, I wasn't specifically knowledgeable. I didn't know what types of items I should be holding back. So I didn't actually hold back the right type of items anyway. And therefore, it meant that there was not really any point in holding them back. But even if you are holding back for eBay the right types of items, why not? I just don't understand why you just don't have a go at listing them straight away. I know there's the issue with price. I mean, I get that. Like, you could, if you list them straight away at a higher price, then why list them? Because they're probably not going to sell till Q4. There's always that kind of mentality, and then you might think, well, I'll just hold off listing them. However, they might sell at that higher price. You know, you could list them in January at your Q4 prices and just have them sat around, you know, maybe relisting them, maybe on good till cancelled. I don't know, whatever. And then at some point in the year, they might get picked off sooner than you think. Now, obviously, you might have some sort of fees incorporated with doing that. But if you're on a shop subscription that allows a certain amount of free listings, then, you know, it probably isn't much of a fee or any fee to do that throughout the year anyway, unless you were doing it with like a serious amount of items. However, if you were doing it with a serious amount of items, the chances are you've probably got an anchor store, and I believe on an anchor store it's like unlimited free listings or something, or unlimited, maybe not unlimited free listings. I might have got that wrong, but it's, you get a certain amount of free listings included in your shop subscription. Although I'm thinking that I think it might be unlimited free listings in terms of as a part of your shop subscription if you have an anchor store. Maybe someone could illuminate me a bit more on that, because I'm a featured store at the moment, so I'm not an anchor store. So I wouldn't particularly know the features of an anchor store, but I would know the features of a featured store because that's what I am. I couldn't help but say features of a featured store then, because it was just funny. We've got Nick in the chat. Hi there, Nick. We've got Steve Green in the chat. Who else have we got in there? We've got, yeah, I said Chelsea. I think I've mentioned everyone there. So, no, Phoebe says, no, I won't list it. I'm lucky I have the storage available to hold it until, say, late September, early October. So, in terms of listing, you know, actually talking about Amazon now, I hold back stuff for Amazon. Nick says, in answer to the question, in my opinion, yes, but only certain stuff. That's kind of what I'm going to get onto, actually, Nick, because that's very, very similar to me. I was talking about eBay, my sort of opinion with eBay and holding stuff back for Q4, and actually, you know, holding stuff back and waiting to list it till Q4, is I won't do it. I don't do it anymore, because I don't see the reason why, to be honest. Like, I can just price it high. If, let's say I get an item in May and it's, you know, Q4 related, I'll just price it high and just wait and just sit on it like that, and then it's listed, available for sale. And then if someone wants to pick it off at some point during the year, then we can do as well. But in my opinion with Amazon, my opinion differs quite a lot. Thin Fashion Plus says, Amazon just drives me nuts. I can't believe how different the customers are on Amazon than eBay. Yeah, it's very true. The customers on Amazon are, they're like really, I mean, I suppose my little reaction there sums it up, but I mean, to say that they are quite strict, let's say, or quite, I wouldn't say demanding, but they know what they want and they want things in perfect condition. If they're buying new off Amazon, they want something to be brand spanking new. They don't want it to be, you know, for example, like this tape. We were buying this tape off Amazon. Obviously, this is, well, basically, this is kind of like in between new and used, because it's new. It's like new. It's not actually been opened yet, this tape. I bought these by mistake as well the other year. I'll just tell you this story, actually. I bought these by mistake because I thought that these would fit my tape gun, and they ended up they didn't fit my tape gun. Luckily, I think I bought about 24 rolls or something, so it wasn't a lot, but yeah, I thought they'd fit my tape gun, but we didn't. So anyway, but this is like in between new and used, because it's used in the sense that it's out of its original packaging, but it's new in the sense that it's actually not been touched, this tape, you know, not actually been started off. But obviously, there's no way you could sell this as new on Amazon. You know, what I'm trying to say is, if you were selling something new on Amazon, it has to be in the original packaging, no rips or tears to the cellophane seal, anything like that. And that's how I will list my new items. And, you know, if I was listing something like this, it would go as used. So you've got to be careful when you're selling on Amazon like that. You've got to make sure that you know the condition guidelines, and that you're adhering to them, because Amazon customers, as you say, will really take something as new as being brand spanking new. Whereas on eBay, although the condition guidelines state that a brand new item is new and unused, shouldn't have any wear or anything like that, people do get away with selling things as new that maybe have rips or tears to the seal and stuff like that. So there is a difference between Amazon customers and eBay customers in the sense of maybe how strict they are with their condition guidelines, what they expect to be receiving from the condition that the seller has stated. Where are we in the chat? Let's just have a look. Customer expectations are definitely higher on Amazon, and they pay a premium for it too. That's another good point, actually. If you do pay a premium, is that Sib K? Nick says Sib K. Is that you? Yeah, I think it is. I think it is Sibabus K. God, that's really cool. That's a really cool name, Sibacus K. I don't know whether that's actually a real name or just a username, but it's cool anyway. Sib K says, hello all, impromptu video. Yeah, definitely. Don't have the space to wait for Q4, as I would literally have nowhere to put it. Same for me, but so we'll get on to what I was talking about earlier on, before I did a random ramble about a roll of tape. What I was talking about Amazon, my opinion differs on Amazon. So when I'm talking about saving stuff for Q4 on Amazon, I'm all for it. I think it's a great thing to do, especially with FBA, not necessarily fulfilled by merchant or FBM in terms of abbreviation of fulfilled by merchant, but I couldn't comment too much on an FBM, but in terms of FBA, certainly I do think it's great to hold stock back for Q4, mainly just because of the fees now. There's no way I would send up my Q4 stock right now, unless my intentions were to sell it now, but therefore it wouldn't be Q4 stock if I was selling it now. So yeah, I generally just hold it back here. Much easier. Obviously there's storage space to consider, but now I've got my lockup, I've not actually got any FBA stock down there for Q4, but it's always a possibility that I could do that as well. So yeah, space isn't too bad for me, but at the same time, I've got to evaluate that, but it's definitely worth giving up the space here with my Q4 stock than actually sending it up to Amazon and paying those fees for however many months I'm paying that fee for, 6 months, 9 months, 10 months, whatever it is. So yeah, in terms of Garage Flip says, doing great, Nick, wasting time with you guys. I know, I tell you, all these resellers videos are terrible, because all you end up doing is just watching reselling it. I mean, I'm meant to be photographing items right now, and I thought, you know what, I can't help but just come on and do a quick live video. I just can't help it, I just think I just want to come on. I want to say hi to you guys, feel a little bit more social, because it is a very unsociable job in one respect, especially for me when I'm in the house on my own, when my mum and dad aren't here, and my other friends are off working, what's known as a normal job, let's say. It's very lonely, so I can't help but kind of just pop on for a little live chat. But as I say, it is terrible, because we all end up not doing as much work as we should be doing. So so with Amazon, I currently am holding back quite a lot of new and sealed stock for Q4, and I'll just build that up throughout the year until I'm ready to send it in. I usually send it in October. For the last kind of year or two, I've been doing that. Seems like a nice month to send it in, the start up to Q4. So I think that with Amazon, definitely, my opinion on this subject is, as I say before, as I said at the start of the stream, I don't think I could just answer yes or no on this question. It's kind of a complete split. With eBay, the answer is no, I won't hold anything back for Q4. With Amazon, it's a complete and resounding yes. I definitely will hold stuff back for Q4. But then again, as Power Reselling said, space has got to be, space has not got to be an issue. You've got to have space to hold stuff back. And there's many other issues. The other thing I wanted to talk about is capital. So tying up your capital in stock. is it really a good idea to tie up your capital in January? And let's say you put £1,000 into stock in January, and then you've tied that up till Q4, or is it better? And again, this is a question that how long is a piece of string, because it really depends on the stuff you're holding back, really depends on your margins, it really depends on your motivation. But is it maybe better to put that £1,000 into stock that you can flip and then flip it again and then flip it again until Q4? And as I say, the answer is really unclear. It's a question that really shouldn't be asked, because it is completely different, for everyone. But I do feel that on the whole, if you're a fairly motivated reseller, that £1,000, if you put it into stock and held it for Q4, that would be the worst option than actually flipping it over the year and gaining more money that way. But then you've got to consider your time, because you're obviously putting more time into that stock, into flipping that money over, and working through more and more stock. Yes, you'll make more money, or you may make more money, but you've put a lot more time into it. So, for me personally, I like just holding stuff for Q4, putting a little bit of capital into it in January, February, March, whenever, or even later on throughout the year, and just not putting much time into it. I can make a return on it in Q4. I can have it sat there. I'm not putting any time into it. And then in Q4, I'll put a bit of time into it, listing it on Amazon, but it will be quite quick because it's all new and sealed stock, and a lot of it is multi-quantity. And then it just goes off, and I don't know what sort of return I would make on that £1,000 or whatever, because it's just a hypothetical situation. But I would make a fairly okay return on that, and I've not put much time into it. Whereas the other way of doing it, I would put more time into it but make a better return. So again, it really depends on what you want to do. Or maybe, as like me, you could do a bit of both. You could flip things all year long, and then do that sort of Q4 approach as well, which most people do, to be honest. I don't really know many people who, and I have thought about this as a business model, but I feel like your cash flow would be too restricted for this to actually work. But I bet you there's someone who does it out there. Whether it's a big time reseller, small time reseller, I don't know. I suppose it would work it on a sort of investing basis, or a part-time investing basis, where you buy, like, you put a couple of grand into stock in January, and then, or you put a few K in stock in January, and then you flip it all in December, and then you repeat the process. Whether that could be done on a full-time basis, though, I think it would be very, very hard because of your cash flow being restricted. But it's something I have thought about. Like, if you had the capital to do it, like, if you could invest, like, 10, 20,000 in stock in January, and then just flip it for a full-time wage in December, the profit being maybe 20,000 on that, if you could flip that all in December. But I suppose that's just an ideal world, really, and it's more of an investment than maybe I suppose it is an income, because you would put it down on a tax return as income, but it would feel more like an investment strategy than a reselling strategy in one respect. But I have thought about that, or maybe doing it on a smaller scale. Well, saying that, I kind of do it on a smaller scale. But yeah, it's quite interesting as well. It's something I've kind of thought of. But as I mentioned, I think that your cash flow would be severely restricted, and it might not work particularly. Nick says, if you can afford to invest money in January into stock for the following Xmas, it makes sense. We have approximately 2K tied up right now and see it as our Xmas bonus. But yeah, very true. Kind of, yeah, I mean, I would say when I put that, when I end up listing that stock on FBA at Christmas time, that's kind of like, I'll have a big hit in sales in maybe November, December, and like I did last year and the previous year before that, because that's how I've been running my business, or sort of running the Q4 side of my business. And yeah, it's quite nice to kind of see that extra money come in. So yeah, I think if you can, as Nick says there, if you can afford to do it, and your cash flow isn't going to, don't severely affect your cash flow to do it. Make sure you have enough money to do, to do the other things in your business, to accommodate returns or refunds or anything like that, to make sure you've got enough money to pay for more stock or pay for bills, or in my case, like, you know, rent of the lockup or something like that. You know, all these different expenses that your business has. Never tie up too much cash in your product and then have nothing, no cash or no cash flow for anything else. So yeah, there's got to be big emphasis on if you can afford to do it. But yeah, I think that's definitely right, Nick. I think that if you can afford to do it, put a little bit of money into it, and again, you're not going to be spending much time on it, especially if it's new and sealed stock. And I think that's another sort of point to mention is the types of items you're holding back for Q4. So if you're holding back maybe you know, items that are harder to deal with, or you know, more items that are maybe to test or to clean and to things like that, then you're going to have to put a lot more time in it further down the road anyway. So that's why I kind of stick to holding back things that are new and sealed, and that literally my entire backlog for Q4, I could just sit down at 9 o'clock in the morning, you know, and I probably will do this in October. And because it's all new and sealed stuff for FBA, I could have, you know, a few grand's worth of stuff listed in one day, and then it goes off to Amazon, and that's that. Now, yes, granted, I have got a fair bit of money invested into it, because it's, you know, retail arbitrage stuff, or it's, you know, it's not necessarily all items that I've got from car boots or charity shops. You know, it's things that maybe I paid a little bit more for, but at the end of the day, I am going to get more back for it. You know, generally like 3-4 times my money, something like that. And you know, because I've kind of done that and I've streamlined it and I've got that new and sealed stuff, it makes it very, very easy to list and to process. And although maybe I've not got the returns of, you know, buying something for £1 from a car boot and flipping it for 50 quid, I don't need those returns because I've not got the time element. You know, I've got less time going into the items. So yeah, anyway, I'll quickly look in the chat and then I will finish up, I think, because I didn't want it to be like a mega long video. But yeah, just wanted to come live and just quickly discuss this with you guys. Hi Peter, did you enjoy Legoland? Oh yeah, Peter, Bumcrap Picker says, yeah, Peter went Legoland, didn't he, today? Oh, Peter Way says, hi, still out. Thought I'd check in. You can't miss one of my streams, can you, Peter? Every time you say you're gonna miss one, or you know, like every time you say you're gonna miss Thursday talks, you end up popping in for a little bit of time anyway. I really do appreciate you popping in anyway, Peter. Still there, BCP, enjoying at the moment. Got quite a bit of footage too. Oh, you're doing a bit of footage for your YouTube channel as well. That's good, yeah. I'll have to remember to watch that actually, Peter. No, I'm not going to answer that question. Oh my god, I did this week and it was very bad. Well, the people in the chat, the people watching back, you know, when we're not watching live, they can see that in the top chat replay anyway. So I'm not going to answer that question. But yeah, that's pretty funny. Tap Peddler says, I don't hold anything back. I just list it maybe at a higher price, i.e. Q4 price. And if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, then I'll keep it for sale unless I get a reasonable offer. Very true. That's exactly what I do. As I mentioned with eBay, I just list it all. And then, you know, my Amazon is different really. But yeah, I think that's about everything. I'm working towards smaller, and oh yeah, I didn't say, Sean's in the chat, so hi Sean. Fairly motivated reseller, sums up 90% of resale. Yeah, definitely. I don't know why that is. That could be a different topic actually, but the why resellers are more motivated, you know, like resellers seem to me, in terms of as within their jobs, seem as resellers, you know, seem more motivated than maybe most people. I don't know why that is. I mean, I suppose it is because you know, we're our own boss, we're self-employed. That has a lot to do with it. But it does seem that you know, the majority of resellers are very, very highly motivated individuals. Power Resell says, I'm working towards smaller and higher profit because of my space. I'd love to do smaller items. My dad always goes on at me saying, why can't you sell smaller items? Because I end up walking up the stairs with massive parcels in my hand. And I don't know why, but I always seem to have massive parcels these days. I don't know what it is. But you know, I do a lot of large letter stuff as well. But I suppose we're selling a lot more ceramics and things like that, studio pottery, antique type items, glassware. They are all, you know, larger parcels. But yeah, I think he would like me to do smaller items, and you know, I'd say I would like to do smaller items just because of that kind of space. The I'd love, and I know that Nick has said this before, I know that Z's said this before, and loads of other people, but I would absolutely love like an inventory that was nice, you know, it was a large inventory, but that was in a small amount of space. So, you know, you might have like a, you know, 500 items or whatever in a small amount of space. That'd be really cool. You know, I could do postcards and stuff like that, but I've not got the knowledge for that particularly, you know, and I always feel that when I'm buying, if I were to buy postcards, I'd have to kind of take the poor ones with the good ones, and then I'd end up having to list like 100 £3 postcards, you know, £3 each, and I don't want to go back to that level of lower value items. So if I was selling postcards, I'd end up having to take the lower value with the higher value, and I don't want to do that. I did have a bid on some banknotes at the fine art sale, but they went incredibly high. It seems like every time I've tried to get banknotes to resell, and when I say banknotes, I don't mean like current banknotes. I mean like, you know, vintage banknotes or older banknotes, primarily of England and Scotland. And whenever I've tried to get them to resell, it just seems that the competition is incredibly high. Whether that's due to collectors or not, I'm not sure. But this lot that I was bidding on had 90 banknotes in it. So I can't really see a collector going for a lot, you know, a job lot that's that large and that was that diverse, because it had various different banknotes in it actually, and in various different conditions. So it leads me to think that maybe actually it was a reseller, but I would find it hard to see how he made much of a margin, because it went for like 600 quid or something, and my maximum bid would have been like 200, 250. So I can't see them making much of a margin on it, if, you know, if at all really. But it's one of those things, I'd love to sell things like that. I'd love to sell smaller items like that. And certainly with banknotes, I absolutely love them. I think it would be so, you know, I try all the time to get into that, but it just doesn't seem to work out. The margin doesn't seem to be there. And it's a shame really, because it would fit all the criteria. You know, it's not too hard to post. It's you know, they're a smaller item. They're mainly higher value items. A lot of banknotes are higher value. You know, maybe disregarding the pound notes, you know, the old pound notes from, let's say, the 70s or 80s, unless you were to get one with a special serial or a certain prefix, you know, replacement, or a column sort prefix. But generally, a lot of them are higher value. So it is a shame that I can't grab my hands on some of them, but at some point I will do. I'm going to be determined. I'm going to persist. And even if it takes me 50 years to get a banknote lot that is actually profitable, I don't care, because I'm going to try and persist and actually get one. So yeah, anyway, quick look down the chat and then I will be off. I have, but I get them to pull my finger first. What? Oh, great. He's answering the question. Guys, flips. It's because we enjoy it. We can choose to work any 12 hours of the day. What? 12 hours? You work 12 hours of a day? Oh my God. Bloody hell. I mean, I've done a few 12-hour days, but God, that's crazy. 12 hours. Oh, right. I use the term work loosely. Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. I mean, if I totted up like the amount I kind of work, it would probably be like 8, 10, maybe even 12 hours a day. But when I say work, you know, that involves maybe stopping, taking breaks, doing a bit of YouTube, not necessarily going live, but, you know, watching YouTube videos while I'm working, maybe slacking off a little bit, just going a bit slower, you know. I might still be working, but I'll be working at, you know, a slower pace. And that's kind of how it is. Or I might go for a walk or something like that. So yeah, I might work. You could maybe say, you know, if you had to put down the hours I work in a week, it might look on paper like a lot, but really, how many of those hours am I properly putting in a load of work? You know, I might be working in some sense of the word, but I'm not really working, you know. And that's something that's got to yeah, right ads. For instance, I am working right now. Yeah, very true. Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah, I mean, it's the same. Like, I say I'm working right now. The only reason I say I'm working right now is because, YouTube does give me a pitiful income and that I can actually say it's somewhat to do with work. So I would say even now I'm working, even though I'm not really working, you know. But Cameron Savage says, "Hi, can you give advice for when items are not selling on eBay? How long should you hold on or expect to wait?" I did do a video yesterday actually on 10 ways to increase your sales. I tried to do as many ways as possible. Oh God, someone's having my stream's gone really bad for some reason. Are we okay? Can anyone say that my stream's good? Because YouTube's saying it's really bad now. Anyway, I don't know. Some people sometimes YouTube says it's bad when it's not bad. So unless anyone says in the chat that the stream's bad, I'm just gonna continue. So Buncrack Pig says, I found a banknote once. Oh, she said Jasmine says okay now. Okay, cool. Where was it? I found a banknote once and it said keep quiet, put the cash in the bag. So sorry, I was reading Cameron's comment there. So okay, but lost you for a sec. Oh, that I don't know why that is weird. Anyway, my internet seems to be alright because I've got my Wi-Fi extender in here now, as I mentioned. But yeah. So basically, yeah, I did a video yesterday that covered a little bit about that. But yeah, what was I going to say? So how long should you hold on or expect to wait? So if you've got items that are not selling over a long period of time, like 6 months, 12 months, or something like that, it might be best to rebundle them up. It might be best to add something into the listing, whether you've got like let's say for example you got a Disney mug. I know in the example of Ben Fitzpatrick, he bundles like a soft toy or a book with his Disney mugs, and that helps saleability. So you can always actually bundle stuff in with the listings, rephotograph, retitle the listings, get some more keywords in the title, so that then you can actually you can maybe expand your exposure of that listing. Obviously, cramming a few more keywords into that listing will help its exposure, maybe push it up the search results a little bit. You could, as I say, you could take that listing off eBay, and then you could put loads of different things with it. You could create what would seem like an entirely new listing and then relist it. You can reduce the price, you can have a sale, you can use promoted listings on eBay and try and get it out that way. There's so many different things you can do. You can add best offer to your item. But there is absolutely tons of different things you can do. But I would also say that first off, look at your listing as a whole. Are your photographs good? Is your title packed with keywords? What kind of items are you selling? Are they naturally quite slow sellers, or maybe quite obscure items that just might take quite a while to sell because you're finding the right buyer? And if that's the case, you might just end up having to wait a little bit longer. But yeah, there's loads of different things you can do. Jasmine says, ads, do you like watches? Do you mean selling them or just do I like them? Well, I've not really sold them. I have had a look at them. I had a look at them at the previous auction, actually, one of the previous auctions I went to, and it seems like actually there can be some decent money in watches, and I might actually branch off and do a little bit of that, take a bit of a risk, maybe buy, maybe not a high-end watch, but like maybe a lower end or mid-range watch, and from the auction once I've done a bit of research, and take a risk on it, because I saw that last time at the fine art sale, some of the watches, and they were being sold as brand new. Now, you've got to watch at auction houses because they'll sell things as brand new, but they might not be specifically completely brand new. They might just be in their box and they look really good. Oh my God, what's happened now? What has happened now? It's saying I've got no data. What's happened now? Can anyone still see me? Because YouTube's gone really, like, it's saying I've gone completely off YouTube for some reason. I don't know. Bundle, that's a smart answer. Yeah, very true. Garage Flip. So I don't even know whether I'm actually broadcasting at the moment. It froze before back on, because I think I've gone. Oh no, we're back on. It says good. I don't know. I think it's freezing a little bit. Still looks fine. Oh right, okay. It's just huge. This is the problem. Like on my OBS, it says I'm fine. but then on YouTube it keeps flicking back and forth, and it does this every stream. So yeah, what was I saying? So I might, end up taking a bit of a risk, buying one of the watches, and just seeing if I can flip it for good money, because I was doing a little bit of research on eBay for the items in the auction, and it seemed like they were going for pretty decent prices. There was watches that were going for like, £15, but were about 50, 60, £70 on eBay, and that's a completely realistic margin. And it would, yeah, it's gone. Oh, reconnection successful. Right, okay, we might be back up now. Right, I'm going to take that as a best go, because OBS, I don't know why, but it's losing connection. It shouldn't be, but I don't know why it should be, but yeah, it's losing connection anyway, so I'll leave it there, guys. I apologise about freezing. I can never get like this OBS right. I've tried so many times to get it right, and it just won't seem to completely go right. I don't know why, whether it's time of day, I don't know whether it's the internet or whatever, but yeah, anyway, I'll go before another disaster happens. So thank you very much for joining me, guys. And are you using that internet? Are you using that internet provider from China? No, but apparently I did an internet test, and my internet is quite poor. So I think I maybe need to sort that out. Get my internet up to speed a little bit. Anyway, yeah, it should be back now, because it's all OBS is giving me the all clear. Yeah. So I'm sorry about that, guys. As I say, I'll leave it there. If you enjoyed the video, as always, give it a thumbs up. And I will see you in tomorrow's Thursday talk. So I'll see you very soon, guys. And thank you for joining me.